And welcome in live from Seattle, Washington. It's the Super Smash Bros. Ultimate Championship 2024 qualifier. Jordan Kent alongside our two analysts here, EE and Charles. Gentlemen, we are well fed, fueled up, and ready to go here. We've got the Southeast and the Southwest taking place. The top four in both of those are looking for a champion in each one. But EE, let's start with you. How excited are you for this tournament where already we've seen a lot of different characters chosen?
I'm very excited for it, and you hit the nail on the head right there. A lot of different characters. I love character diversity. I feel like anytime we're working with Nintendo, that tends to be the theme of what we are blessed with. And somebody who gets to commentate a lot of tournaments, I have no problem with more characters. It just creates more opportunities for more great moments.
Yeah, and Charles, it speaks volumes just to the depth, once again, of this game. The meta has changed so much throughout the past 6 years, but here we are. As always, there's always a character for a fighter, no matter who you are.
Oh, yeah, and I think that's the best part about Ultimate. Almost 90 characters to pick from, and I've played a lot of different fighting games. Not many have the close enough to even pair to the roster that Smash Bros. Ultimate has. I mean, we got quite the lineup today in this top four as well. We got Bowser Jr., Mii Swords Fighter, and of course Incineroar and Luigi. So a lot of really hard-hitting characters, combo characters that are so exciting to watch, Jordan.
All right, let's go ahead and check out the bracket for the Southeast. That'll be the first region we'll be taking a closer look at today. And you see some of our fighters, Zap, DT Foe, Cyan Can, and Cool Cactus. And EE, Zap is someone that registers on your radar.
Oh, yeah, he registers on my radar because he's always in my mentions, okay? This guy is always posting some sort of amazing highlight on Twitter and wants everybody to see it, and I don't blame him. He's a Bowser Jr. player. I think he's the best in the business with that character. Great to see him be able to make an appearance in this tournament.
The exclusive company of the mentions of EE. It's a very, very restrictive club. And, of course, we look at Cyan Can, Cool Cactus here, Charles, and their character diversity. You mentioned Mii Sword Fighter for Cool Cactus.
Yeah, a very interesting character. In terms of offline tournaments, you don't really see the character too much, but there has been other top players that have been dabbling into this character. Obviously, the Miis are so diverse because you really can customize their special moveset, so I'm really looking forward, Jordan, to seeing what kind of special moveset this player is bringing to the table today.
It will be double elimination. We'll work our way through the winner's side of the bracket. Don't forget the championships, the Super Smash Bros. Ultimate Championship 2024, taking place August 25th. So a lot of excitement there as we make our way closer to that date. Well, as we get set for our first match here, EE, you go back to the current state of meta. Both of you continue to cast high-level Smash, and it just seems like there are always new ways and evolutions that players are finding within this game.
Well, I'll tell you the truth, Jordan. I mean, with a game like this, I mean, Charles said it, there's almost 90 characters here. It's all about optimization of your character. You don't necessarily have to follow a tier list when you understand your character at a high level. It's all about knowing the matchups, right? You know enough matchups, it's going to take you far. And the good thing about that is, too, with some of those unconventional characters that we're going to demonstrate in this bracket, it can catch a lot of people off guard and create some slick wins that you didn't see coming.
And Charles, I'm always interested. You've got your main, and there are matchup strengths, though. Within this roster, there are certainly matchups when you see them get set to take place, you're wondering, maybe I have an advantage, maybe I don't. That's where the fun comes in. Sometimes you stick with that main, sometimes you have a backup.
Oh, yeah, and having that backup character is always nice. And it can be as simple as, you know what, I want a sword for this matchup. I want to get up and close and personal in this matchup. So having a diverse character pool can be so strong. But one thing we've noticed in the current meta is a lot of players that just stick it out with one character and just get really, really good with that one character and even tough it out through the bad matchups have a ton of success. And I think a lot of these players that have brought some of these unconventional characters to this tournament is going to show us exactly that, Jordan.
Now, I have a pretty elementary question for both of you here. What is it that separates a great Smash player from a good one? Is there something consistent you've seen throughout the years that really stands out at this high level?
Absolutely. For me, I think it really comes down to recovery. Like, there are so many situations where I'll watch games, it's just like, you're at a pretty minor percentage, but you just can't quite recover because somebody's that aggressive or that calculated. The great ones know how to survive. They know how to get back to the stage and give themselves those second chance opportunities that can lead to W's.
Charles, anything else on that?
I'm going to have to agree with EE.
Oh,
I think
you guys, so harmonious already.
We were
I love it.
roommates. We were
I
roommates.
love it. Okay.
Phenomenal defense in general, right? Recovery, just getting back to the stage in general. And there's so many times where different players will get these huge upsets by clutching out a win, by getting the opponent at really low percents and getting them off stage and getting a very early stock at early percents, and that's the kind of things you need to avoid. It's all about consistency, and defense will bring out the consistency in a lot of these top players.
It also feels like EE movement and just understanding how to navigate your character and how to really find that proper spacing, because everybody wants to operate at a different distance.
Of course.
How do you find yourself in that opportunity as much as you can? We'll get to that here soon, because we're getting ready to roll here. Our first matchup, Bowser Jr. from Zap, Incineroar, DT Foe, as we get set to go, of course, on Town and City.
Well, this is Smashville. This is Smashville. Very similar layout, though, Jordan, and I get that confused myself, too, just because I happen to love both of those stages. Now, here is something you're going to notice about these characters right off the start, okay? Zap is going to be the aggressor. This guy is a human highlight machine at times. We've gotten an opportunity to see DT Foe in the past. Of course, we know he does a fantastic job. But Zap, he's kind of brings some of that new school flash to the meta, which I really appreciate.
Early on, both fighters pretty much at equal ground, and you're just trying to figure out how do you get the advantage here, Charles.
Yeah, the big thing to watch out for is Incineroar. The revenge is ready to go here, and yes, definitely wants to give Bowser Jr. a big old hug. That can be so devastating, but so can the back air coming out from Zap to go ahead and close out that first stock.
As you said, Zap takes out the first stock, all of a sudden finds themselves in disadvantage. DT Foe trying to answer back here real quickly.
Yeah, no doubt about this, and this is one of those opportunities where you get to see, okay, can I make it back? Now, unfortunately, right there, Bowser Jr. just not having the distance to make it back off coming from that clown car, but that's okay, because again, this is those low percents you can see Bowser Jr. operate very well with, because he's so combo heavy. Incineroar does have an opportunity to eat up a lot of that damage, especially with revenge being a tool as well, but Zap, he plays like he's just completely fearless.
And Charles, DT Foe able to come right back in, take that quick stock, had it tied up for a moment, but now we're starting to see Zap take a little bit more of the momentum here.
Yeah, Zap's just being really consistent on these tech chases, covering multiple options here, trying to launch into the air, bring the hammer down here. Okay, gets the spot dodge check here. DT really trying to get some kind of damage, but the spin out from Zap, what a way to catch that landing.
And this is what's interesting here. You want to play as a grappler with Incineroar, but you've got some extended hitboxes if you are Bowser Jr.
Yeah, that's the thing that really allows Zap to operate his offense the way he wants, right? He gets to determine when he's coming in and kind of almost at a distance. You even saw the saving the clown car dash for that KO in the last previous stock. Really good option, catching DT Foe off guard and really just continuing to hammer on this percentage. Looking pretty dire right now.
And Zap didn't drop a set in the latter round on their way here as well, too. So now DT Foe up against the ropes. Zap with that 2-1 stock lead, Charles.
Bringing out the rubber hammer as well on the grab. I always think it's a very funny pummel in the game here, but Zap still up an entire stock here in the back air. Really bad position for DT Foe, and that recovery is not the greatest. It's getting blown up by that forward smash.
Well, it was a Zap. It was that quick for sure. The win, first game going to Zap, takes the advantage. And so we're seeing that already with Bowser Jr. We've talked about just a little bit more of a speed advantage over Incineroar, and really felt the difference there.
He has a lot of really good moves, but the problem is sometimes they're slow. And the way Incineroar operates, when you have a character with the rushdown ability that Bowser Jr. presents and somebody who's as efficient as Zap, it can be a very long set for you.
And that's the one thing that you have to keep in mind, that you're going to maybe try and come out and be the aggressor here, Charles, but it can be a long match sometimes, and your opponent's going to be able to quickly read on the way that you want to play. Yeah,
exactly. And just because Incineroar, hits very hard, has crazy combos, but it's just so hard for the character to thrive against some of these more mobile characters, right? And that clown cart really giving Bowser Jr. so much mobility over Incineroar. We'll see if DT Foe can find some kind of answer here.
And that would be my question, Charles. What is the adjustment for DT Foe here?
Yeah, sometimes you just got to play it a little bit slower, just got to walk, shield, and kind of slow roll your way into your opponent's zone, right? And we'll see if DT Foe can do exactly that, because there's only so much stage your opponent can run around on, right?
And now you've got some platforms to work with here, a little bit more options as well too, EE. That might bode well for, who do you think in this situation?
I think it's going to help Incineroar a lot, because it gives you a few more landing options, right? You're coming off the recovery, off that cross chop. Sometimes it's very easy to snipe right there, and you see it just dropping down with the nair. It's really clean cut. It doesn't present a lot of options, but when you have to recover at that angle, the platforms are kind of rendered null and void.
Zap, as we said, took the first set and now has a chance to go up 2-0, has the 3-2 stock lead, and already piling up the damage here, Charles.
Yeah, and finally going to utilize the armor there, and that is going to be an early stock here coming in for Incineroar. And this is a great counter pick as well, just because those side blast zones are much smaller on Town and City, and Incineroar definitely loves to get those KOs horizontally.
And this is an opportunity for DT Foe to get back into this game, but what we're seeing here, EE has to get back onto stage, and just like that, 2-1 zap.
Well, the problem is he gets back on the stage and disaster just happens to follow, you know what I mean? Like, Incineroar is so good when you're able to get a revenge off and, of course, accompany it with an Alolan Whip. That is a 1-2 punch that often can fail a lot of different characters. No tech right there from Zap, going to create a huge opening for DT Foe.
And here we are, 1-1, just a 9% difference, Charles, and this is where DT Foe, this is a huge opportunity to get yourself right back into this set.
Yeah, but this up air string, oh my goodness, going all the way up. Coming in for Zap, a lot of damage here. We'll see if DT Foe can continue some of these edge guards with that Neutral. The Neutral coming out from Incineroar hits very low and underneath Incineroar. Very good for the offstage game here. And we even saw it a couple times in game 1 as well.
And now Zap has got DT Foe where they want them. DT Foe able to get back on stage, and Zap able to land somewhat safely, but then DT Foe taking some damage, EE.
Yeah, that Mecha Koopa is definitely something you always have to keep an eye on. Can oftentimes aid in setups to get those KOs that Bowser Jr. is always fishing for, especially with that back air, always looming as well. Can't leave yourself open, but this positioning really favoring DT Foe, but this is a position where Incineroar as well can maybe sneak in a KO. It is far from over.
Zap able to connect with so many of those aerials in the middle of the stage, sending DT Foe flying, and one more time, yes, Zap picks it up 2-0. An impressive display of patience, especially in that final stock.
Oh, yeah, and I mean, you saw Zap playing it extremely safe because DT Foe, especially any Incineroar, back on the stage with all that rage. I mean, such a powerhouse you just have to respect, right? So Zap using a lot of those disjoints, keeping the distance from Incineroar and landing finally that safe back air at the end.
And that's one of those situations we've talked about matchups, and that's a tough one for Incineroar because you're trying to approach Bowser Jr., has so many options to create a little bit of spacing, but has the speed to get up close into your face.
You wouldn't believe the amount of people who have a mock tier list of what ifs if Incineroar was just a little bit faster. The only thing that sometimes holds this cat
it was
back
a little bit taller.
You know, if that's the case, I'd be playing hoops along with you. You know what I'm saying? Just the what ifs, but you gotta work with what you got. And I think DT Foe did a fantastic job in that fashion. I just think he got a little outclassed character-wise.
All right, let's take a look at the bracket after that first matchup between Zap and DT Foe. Zap making quick work of it, will advance to winners final. That means that brings up Cyan Can and Cool Cactus up next, which means, Charles, we'll get the typical Luigi and me sword fighter matchup that we see tournament after tournament, especially in top 8.
Of course. The me sword fighter coming in, obviously just kind of joking around. Not the craziest common pick for a lot of these offline tournaments, and I mean we do have a top player in Japan, Mia, that actually picked up this character recently, so kind of turning a lot of heads because one of the best players in the world putting their attention to sword fighter. So we'll see if this character actually has some secret sauce. There's a bunch of different special moves that sword fighter can utilize. Sword fighter is a unique fighter because you do have the sword, you want to keep that mid-range distant, but sword fighter also has a bunch of long-range special moves available to them as well. So we'll see if we're going to see any of that come into play.
And EE, that's what's fascinating about these Mii characters is you can customize their build as well to your play style. So it's almost one more layer underneath that matchup that you're trying to figure out.
That's what can really make it tricky at times. But I think, you know, it's interesting. The game has been out for so long. I think a lot of people kind of have their go-to set. You know what I'm saying? It's not too often that you see a Mii, any kind of Mii, like come out with a set that's going to be uncommon because it might not be as effective, right? You got to play to the meta, play to your character's best tools. So you tend to go for those one-for-ones that you know are going to be effective. And at the most important point, Jordan, consistent.
And Charles, you said Luigi. That means we might have some quick matches as well, potentially.
Yes, this
Please.
plumber hits very, very hard. Luigi, one of the craziest characters in the game when it comes to the combo game, right? Even on launch, had a very easy to execute 0 into the KO combo, right? Definitely had a little bit of modifications, got a little bit of patches, but still when Luigi especially gets that grab, can be a little hard to get because it's a tether grab, right? Has the distance a little bit slower, but very rewarding on the side of Luigi.
And this will be interesting, EE, because Sword Fighter has some tools to be a little bit of a zoner at times, but now you're dealing against Luigi that is a grappler. Really wants to make this thing up close and personal. How do you find that balance between the two?
Well, the thing that really works for Luigi is obviously you're going to be looking for those, 0 to KOs, like really, really low percent. But Luigi doesn't have to rely on that. Luigi's just a good character overall. So if you get into a situation where you're at those higher percents, watch out for that back air. Watch out for that down throw into Cyclone. There are a multitude of ways that Luigi can follow up and get that KO.
Cyan can against Cool Cactus. As we said, me Sword Fighter, and fitting Cool Cactus has the cowboy hat to get things rolling here. But early thoughts as we try to figure out what this build is going to look like, Charles. Both fighters just trying to get a feel early on here.
Okay, we already see the chakram coming out right there, those rings. That's probably the most common. Most sword fighters utilizing that chakram. Very good. You can set it up in a slow way, so it just controls a bunch of area, or you can shoot out as a really fast projectile.
And Cyan gets the tether grab, leads into a short little combo. Cool Cactus gets back up on stage, the down throw, followed by the aerial and a nice little 1-2 punch, EE.
Yeah, you know what? This is something that I might have overlooked, is the fact that, the me here, Cool Cactus, is definitely going to be able to kind of throw it back at him too, as far as that combo game goes as well. And this is what I was talking about earlier. Unfamiliarity in a matchup could do you in. There's a bunch of Luigis running around. You're not too surprised about what this guy's doing. But a me Sword Fighter, that can be a character that'll make you think twice.
Yeah, it really does. But following it up right there, you see the power that can be packed in Luigi.
Yeah, and one of the main things that Sword Fighter has as well, not a lot of characters can contest Luigi recovering really low, but Sword Fighter, that down air is designed in a way where most characters will fall out of the down air, so the final hit doesn't connect and you'll just sink downward. So we saw Sword Fighter get the first stock like that. We might see some more coming up.
Really astute observation, and so far hanging on at 111 on their first stock. We've seen an impressive showing here from Cool Cactus, racking up the damage, trying to build that advantage against Cyan. As Luigi falls off the stage one more time, trying to recover, gets to the edge. But right now it feels like Cool Cactus dominating this matchup, EE.
Oh, he absolutely is. I mean, you notice he's controlling the entire tempo of how this is going down. And yet again, we see that down air be a key component to how we are going to get these KOs and enable these leads to stay intact. I'm not sure Cyan is just, I don't think he has any familiarity with this character right now. And you would think, too, it's pretty commonality that Luigi kind of likes FD a lot. I would not say that's the case right now as we see what's unfolding.
So far, Cool Cactus hanging on with that first stock. At this point now, trying to go toe-to-toe in the middle of the stage, is building up some extra credit here, Charles.
Oh, yeah, for sure, and especially with all this chip damage. And usually Luigi can struggle against sword characters, Sword Fighter not having the longest sword in Super Smash Bros., but you also have the accompany of all these different projectile options as well. I love that diving down right into the ledge here, and still at 177%, finally, the down smash will close out that first stock.
2-1 advantage for Cool Cactus.
Uh-oh.
In the driver's seat, but that down throw almost followed up by here. EE, you get the sense that Cyan's starting to feel a little bit more comfortable in this matchup.
Yeah, one of those combos from Luigi that can lead to a quick KO is exactly what I'm sure he's going to be hunting for. One thing to keep in mind, too, though, as his percentage rises, the guarantees for certain things aren't as assured because that rage that accompanies Luigi at those percentages as well. So it's really just an uphill battle, and I'm not sure it's doable, but I like the fight nonetheless. Cool Cactus might be in danger, and he is. Okay, Cyan, bring yourself back in this contest.
All right, one stock each. However, huge health advantage right now. Cyan sitting at 100, but we've seen how quickly, Charles, Cyan can rack up the damage. Has to get back on the stage, though.
Oh, man, and Luigi's still holding on to the double jump. That's going to be the key thing to look for these edge guards here. And one stock apiece, it doesn't matter what the percentages are. If Luigi's on the screen, it's an even game.
Tried to go with the fireball into the tether, just a little too far out this time. Oh, and here comes the KO. And, well, like that, like the tag says, that is Cool Cactus closing things out. But it ended up being much closer than what it looked like originally, EE.
I love that KO that Cool Cactus got there. I call that the stop-and-go combo. I stop, you go. Because he dashed a little bit, stopped, waited for him to react, and then boom, smash attack to send him into the blast zone. Beautifully done to get that final KO. And kind of put him on notice, like, hey, you know, unconventional, but I think you should get used to me because I'm not going anywhere.
Well, as far as getting used to things, Charles, it did seem like that Cyan started to figure out the play style of me Sword Fighter about a stock and a half into that, and you saw the momentum swing a little bit. It was just too little, too late.
Yeah, and I think a big thing that Cyan had to notice is just using that plunger, that Zair that we like to call it. When you use your grab and you have a tether grab in the air, it's called a Zair. And then you kind of have this pressure with the plunger, but when it's going up against a sword move, it kind of just clanks out, right? So Luigi's main mid-range tool is going to be that Zair, but you know, maybe Cyan just can't really rely on that as much throughout this set.
You like how realistic Smash is. A plumber's plumber plunger cannot go up against a sword here. So clear common sense right there. Well, as we get set, any adjustments that you see Luigi needs to make here as they get set for the second set?
You know what? The thing that really well, wow, we're not even going to see the Luigi.
No,
see
Dr. Mario.
So I guess this is the adjustment, right? Consider another character. You know, character specialists are not above selecting other options if a matchup seems a little bit too unwinnable. That one right there obviously was not, but you know, when you're in a best-of-3 situation, you really can't afford to think twice. You got to go with your gut, and he decided to go with Dr. Mario.
And why do you think the Dr. Mario switch here, Charles?
One thing is, instead of utilizing that Luigi Zera, we're going to see some of the neutral beats coming out from Dr. Mario, right? That pill is going to be a great mid-range tool. Also, Dr. Mario just going to have a little bit more mobility just getting in. Luigi doesn't have the best traction, which is why Luigi can struggle versus some of these sword characters. You're knocking on that shield, you're sliding away, and you're not really closing the distance here. Dr. Mario still packs a punch, though. That down B going to end that first stock.
A prescription for pain coming from Dr. Mario takes the first stock, and already we're seeing the difference. You compare that EE, we're starting to get a better feel for how Sword Fighter plays, and you've got to feel pretty confident if you're Cyan.
Oh, absolutely. You know, notice another thing I think is huge, too. You've introduced a tri-plat to the mix, right? In that first encounter, it was all FD. FD notorious for no platforms, obviously. You put a smaller stage like this, you add some tri-plats, and it's going to allow Dr. Mario even more mobility to his toolkit, which is really helping him play around anything Cool Cactus is trying to do, which at the moment is bring this match back.
And Charles also changes the recovery angle, I'm sure, for Cyan.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Having those platforms is going to be way different from FD. Whenever you have platforms recovering high, he's going to have a little bit more options because you have a little bit more landing zones to go to.
Right now, 141 to 81. Cool Cactus able to pick off a stock from Cyan, but that's a nice advantage so far here as both players down to stock number 2 at this moment, and already we're seeing a little bit more power as Cyan, my goodness, takes a 2-1 lead without a lick of damage here.
Yeah, Cyan is playing with so much confidence too. Like, he is not at all avoiding going into the fray. That's what you need, right? You kind of get overwhelmed in the first match. You start to make it a little bit close down the stretch, but you've already trailed enough where it's not really going to make a difference. This time, I call this a statement game, letting them know we are going the distance and where I'm not giving you too much to say in it.
Both players going back and forth in neutral at this point, trying to get the advantage, either one of them. Cool Cactus at this moment, down a stock, trying to regain some momentum. Down throw, followed by the aerial. That'll create a little bit more breathing room here, Charles.
Yeah, but still, Cyan doing a really great job in that forward air. Almost going to do the trick here, throwing in a little taunt into the spinaroo. And just like that, we got a set here, 1-1.
Those tables turned quickly, EE. All of a sudden, the counter pick to Dr. Mario was exactly what they were looking for, as now Cyan's got to feel pretty confident. You wonder if you're going to see anything different from Cool Cactus, because they did not look comfortable at all throughout that entire game.
Yeah, and you know, you kind of look at the trajectory and how Cool Cactus got to this point. It's been all about the Mii Swordsman, right? So I don't really know if there's going to be a backup plan for that. If I'm Cool Cactus, I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to take a breath, let me reset, go to a stage. I'm going to be comfortable. Because when you win that first game, you have that counter pick advantage for the stage. That's a huge deal to keep in mind. So you just got to go to a stage. And honestly, you need a better start. You got overwhelmed within like the first 30 seconds of game number 2. We all knew it was going downhill right there. You said it, prescription for pain delivered.
Well, it's that second stock where they weren't able to register any damage whatsoever on Cyan, and that really extended the lead. And now if you're Cyan, you can feel a little bit more comfortable as you get down to that final stock. But now we see Marth. Whoa!
Where'd this come from?
Marth coming out. All right. We know they like sorties, but here we go. Marth, get your tippers ready.
This is so intriguing to me because we are touching on the fact that we know that the plumbers sometimes they can struggle a little bit with sword characters, and you know, Mii Swordsman, a swordie in name only in some extent. This right here, a traditional true swordsman, been through multiple titles in the game, has enjoyed a lot of success from a lot of players. Marth could be the answer Cool Cactus is searching for.
And you're definitely going to have that out-of-shield game as well with Marth. That up B out-of-shield is going to be really quick and snappy here. Going to be able to deal with a lot of the pressure from Dr. Mario. And the stage pick is huge here because now we're on Hollow Bastion, a lot more room to work with.
And that's really the key as we see. It felt like Cool Cactus was just a little too cramped on Yoshi's story on that last matchup, but now has the room to roll around and use that mobility advantage and a little bit more speed with Marth also.
Oh, 100%, Jordan. And that middle platform is going to benefit Marth greatly. I'm telling you, that's something that's really going to kind of limit the options of Cyan. Right now, playing around it pretty well, but I'm thinking if Cool Cactus can get this first KO, that could be the difference maker.
Pretty even. That back air was the slight difference. Now Cyan at over 100%. Cool Cactus just a tick under, and all of a sudden Cool Cactus goes flying north, and that's the first stock of this one here, Charles.
Yeah, that up smash, very iconic for all three of the plumbers. They swing that noggin. It is a very good move, covers a lot of space, and can be so good in these scramble situations, can catch these panic jumps. Cyan knowing exactly that, getting the same lead they got on game 2.
Hopefully for Cyan, trying to make Cool Cactus the final patient of the day so far. Trying to pursue. You see that pill coming out of shield option. How about Cool Cactus cleaning it up?
Yeah, got to be careful when you're pressuring a shield at that kind of percent against somebody like Mark. That is one of the best out of shield options for getting a KO that anybody has in the game. It really could be the opener that's letting him get back into it. I love this scrap fest that we're seeing. Nobody really getting overwhelmed, just some back and forth tit-for-tat hits that are really making this a compelling game number 3. I'm loving it.
And Charles, finally somebody gets a little bit of stage control, but getting right back on the stage, and now putting Dr. Mario in disadvantage was Cool Cactus, but then spiked down to earth.
I love the idea of the counter, but when it whipped, I knew that the regrab was going to be costly. That's a guaranteed hit, and you already know Cyan was not going to let that one go unchecked.
A risky move that does not pay off for Cool Cactus, and now Cyan got a 1-stock lead and still very healthy at this point. And now you do probably want to think about, do you go aggressive or do you go conservative here if you're Cyan, Charles?
Yeah, this is a really picky situation here for Cool Cactus. If you're Cyan, you're chilling on this lead here. You're just racking up this damage. And yeah, I mean, Dr. Mario doesn't have the best recovery, so maybe that's why Cool Cactus kind of felt obligated to go off stage. But this time, it's going to be worth bringing it back 1 stock apiece here, Jordan.
Not over yet. 1 game each. The winner will advance to winners finals. Cool Cactus right now underneath that platform trying to shark a little bit. Both fighters get onto neutral ground. It's Cyan sending Cool Cactus off the stage. Cactus able to recover. And Cyan again following it up, and that'll be game as Cyan, switching to Dr. Mario, takes 2 straight games and advances to winners finals. You love the adjustment, Charles.
Oh, we love all the different characters here on this desk. We thought we were just going to see 4. Well, throw some more into the mix.
6. Why not?
Why not? I mean, we got to see Marth. Marth is always a fan favorite in Super Smash Brothers. Has been doing amazing things since Melee. I mean, the iconic sword character of the franchise, I would say. And then, of course, Dr. Mario, always a fun pick. Really hits hard, but just can be a little bit troublesome off stage. But we saw Cyan really use that power to their advantage on stage, and those up smashes, those noggins were hitting.
All right, let's check out the updated bracket as Cyan gets the 2-1 victory. And we'll move on to take on Zap in our next matchup, which means we're going to see either Luigi or Dr. Mario against a very competent Bowser Jr. and EE. Again, one of those matchups that's the beauty. Smash Ultimate, you're going to get a lot of different matchups, and this is one in particular.
If you ask me if I'm Cyan, I'm riding the hot hand of Dr. Mario right now.
To.
Because the I mean, it was like one, it's not just the thing to win it 2-1. You did it in reverse fashion. You lost that first game. Dr. Mario was the catalyst to bringing it back, to getting you to winners finals. We all know what Zap brings to the table. He's going to start with that Bowser Jr. He's going to be pretty nutty. You've got to go with your best. And right now, from what I've seen, Jordan, Cyan's best is got to be that Dr. Mario. I was blown away with how impressive that was.
Yeah, Charles, it felt like the switch to Dr. Mario took a lot of pressure off of having to grapple, having to be so close. And then you take out the factors of, well, the stage might really impact the way that I play, or my grip on the stage is going to be impacted. So it feels like it's a much safer choice where you can really rely on your fundamentals. And there you have it. We make the house call. The Doctor is here, taking on Bowser Jr.
Yeah, when you say the word well-rounded, not a lot of people in the Smash community would go ahead and say that is going to be paired with Luigi. And I think Dr. Mario going to have a little bit more well-roundedness, right? You're going to have those neutral B, the pill for that mid-range, and both of them still not having the best recovery, and that air dodge is going to cost Cyan a lot here in this game number 1.
Yeah, costly early mistake. You do not want to give any ground to Zap, who's been flawless getting to this point. And now if you're Zap, you're sitting pretty here, EE.
Yeah, you're pretty much just like, oh, you want to give me free stocks? Okay, cool. Now I only have to KO you twice. Like, you just make it that much more easy. There are certain players, Jordan, that you just cannot give that advantage to. I believe Zap falls into that class, and he's kind of showing you why. Just an absolutely destructive force in this game number 1. Has a mastery of this character like no other.
And now it's all about the edge guarding at this point here. Has double the health right now and an extra stock. But Cyan trying to get back into this, but those down airs just so oppressive and able to create some distance is Zap. And you're seeing all the tools at the disposal here for Bowser Jr., Charles.
Yeah, and of course, Bowser Jr., if you hit that cart, there's a lot of weight. But finally, the Doc going to get that first stock here. Wow, but here's the Rapid Jab that can get the KO. Barely not going to be enough, though. Can you recover?
does recover, has to deploy every possible fundamental to do that. The up throw can't follow up at this point, and that'll be stock number 2 that is down, and it is Zap with a sizable lead here.
And that follow-up really was only blocked because that platform was right where it was. Very unfortunate for Sion, but nonetheless, Zap going to reap the benefits and the rewards. And don't think he will go all the way for the KO.
How about that? Don't need the cart for the KO. Bowser Jr. pops off, able to connect right there. And how about Zap making quick work? Charles, that quickly steamrolled out of control.
Oh, yeah, and I mean, the thing about Zap is knows the options for Dr. Mario, right? You don't have a lot of options off stage. Your air mobility isn't the best, so you're wiggling left and right off stage. Not going to be the greatest, so you have to employ a lot of things that you just have a lot of lag and cooldown afterwards. Zap knows exactly that, knows where to strike, knows exactly all the different patterns Dr. Mario can go for, and just exactly cover them. And not much you could do as Dr. Mario there off stage.
And you really can't, in EE, you know, a player like Zap, you can't give them an early stock like that where you air dodge and it makes you pay. And so based on this, do you see Dr. Mario coming out again, or maybe a counter pick coming here from Sion? Because, well, we're going to go to Mario. Okay, so we're going through all the plumbers.
I love this guy's dedication to the Mario franchise. Can we talk about that first and foremost? I mean, he's wearing the suspenders like he's the true plumber, man, the working man's character in Mario right now. He's got a lot of work to do after that first game. See if he can bring it back. I'm very interested mainly, Jordan, because I don't know, like, characters sometimes if they're not warmed up, I'm a little concerned about them, right? If they're coming off, like, the bench, if you will. You know, your sixth man, if you will. If it's not warmed up, how effective will it be? The Mario right now, at the very least, he has an SD, so that's a pretty good start.
Hey, Mario's that microwave. You come out and try to give them buckets off the pine as soon as you can, and now they're going back and forth. Mario getting back on stage. Here comes Bowser Jr. rushing in, and now you see a little bit more patience from Sion, not just going in there haphazardly trying to create the contact, but the grab, down throw, and that's going to create another advantage state for Bowser Jr.
Oh, my God! The fact that he used the Mecha Koopa to set that up, the clown cart dash off of the stage, Zap is out of his mind.
Yeah, straight MacGyver action right there. Just using everything you possibly can.
I understood
and now
that.
Thank you. We're the same age. I really appreciate that. I do not mind the fact that we can share some of the same jokes here. Now, here comes more pressure. And Zap, as we said before, just impressive. Doesn't give you any room to breathe at any moment, EE.
I'm doing a lot of really actually advanced techniques too, man. The footstools out of shield as well to create openings with the clown cart. This is just really snowballing out of control for Sion. Really what he's trying to do is find openings to penetrate the defense, right? But Zap is giving him none. The rapid jab right here. Okay, not going to get all of that, which is very fortunate for Sion, but he has got to make this count. A KO is absolutely necessary.
Yeah, the two up air string couldn't really follow that up. However, now we're starting to see Sion get some footing. Sion, though, taking a lot of damage on this second stock, trying to just stay on the stage at this point. Gets right back to the ledge. And just like that, the ledge trapping capabilities and the patience of Zap paying off.
Yeah, that forward tilt. He was using forward tilt, down tilt. He was putting any kind of pressure strings he could to really put the pressure on Sion, and it paid off big time. That is at least the third up smash that has come out from Sion that has not gotten the KO. I don't know what that card is made out of, Jordan, but I'm starting to question some things because these KOs are just, that's the fourth one!
It's the battery. It sits at the base. It's heavier than normal. It's got a good center of gravity at this moment. Finally, first stock goes, but Sion's got a lot of work to do to get back into this one. Zap trying to advance to grand finals, has to take one more stock. The dash, the pursuit, Mario just trying to get back down to earth. And so far, it's a little back and forth at this point. But there goes that clown cart, going to abandon it and create the explosion.
Yeah, Zap continues to be in firm control. But one thing about Mario that I will never count this character out, the ability to combo, okay? If we can get a ladder combo going, maybe assisted by a platform, that could be a potential for an up B super jump punch KO situation. Or just go for broke and try and hit that fair. But unfortunately, nobody home just getting that percent, only continues to climb as Sion continues to trail, and that might just do it.
And that will do it. So Zap will scoot on into grand finals without even dropping a set at this moment.
No, sir.
Very impressive 2-0 victory. And you saw Sion start to put up a little bit more of a fight in the second half of that, but again, it's just too much aggression coming out from Zap.
Yep.
All the tools at their disposal to really continue to put that pressure on you.
Yeah, that's the problem too. It's not a skill issue on Sion's part, right? And his character was appropriate. It's the fact that Zap just seems so well versed and comfortable. His combo routes, Jordan, that to me was the difference maker. he got so many KOs off situations where I'm just expecting, oh, we're just going to get some additional damage. No, he wants the additional KO. Like, this is a guy who's just willing to go all the way. He takes it to the rack like Luka. It's crazy.
Oh, I like it. You got a little Dallas Mavericks
Yeah,
reference
why
in there.
not?
I know that's who you're pulling for. Well, listen, I don't know how much longer people want the camera zoomed in on us, so we're going to go ahead and kick it over to Charles, who's standing by the touchscreen for a little replay action. Charles, what do you got here for us?
All right, so I got Zap's amazing Bowser Jr. Great combo game as well as an offstage edge guard to follow things up. We're going to start the replay here, and as you can see, it's juicy because it starts at 0%. So, of course, right now, Zap's just waiting out the intangibility, really controlling this center area. This center area is the most important part of the stage, and Zap really just using the mobility of Bowser Jr. coming underneath and really throwing out these hitboxes around this general area, right? So if we pause it here, this is where the combo starts, but again, Zap really controlling this center area, throwing out all these lingering hitbox like the down air. When the down air does connect, then we get to see the combo come in. You can go ahead and play it. So if standard up air string gets a little bit of a trade here, but still Zap wants to continue putting the pressure on towards the center stage. Then right after that, we can pause it here. That double jump gets caught, so we can rewind it just a little bit, and we see this double jump. And this is what Zap's looking out for. And when we can pause it right here and then play it. So Zap connects here, and then we can pause it. The great thing about Bowser Jr. and any character that can do this is going to be extremely strong off stage. When you have any option that can shoot you up vertically, and then you can cover a high option like a double jump, because here, Cyan wanted to double jump over and get back onto stage. So this is generally the most common option when recovering to just avoid all of this pressure. But because Zap has the up special that goes ahead and launches Bowser Jr. up, and you have that threat of the hammer, you can cover that and get the stock at a very, very low percent. So we can go ahead and finish the clip here. And just like that, getting the KO at 72% after the hit. Incredible stuff to Zap. An incredible gameplay so far, but we're going to toss it to a quick break. Make sure to stay tuned.